So here's a challenge for you. This is dealing with calculating slope. Remember that our slope formula is this. Now I usually leave the m off because we just know that we're going after the slope. But now I'm going to leave it on because it's actually going to be really helpful here. So there's our formula. Oh boy, there's our formula. So given the slope, find a y coordinate. We could do this for the x's as well, but so here, find the y value, so that the line passing through this coordinate pair and this coordinate pair has a slope of 2/3. So here's how this is different. I already know that m is 2/3, that my slope is 2/3. So I actually substitute 2/3 in for m, and that's going to equal whatever I have to do with this calculation. So I need to take y minus 1, and divide that by 4 minus negative 2 on the bottom. So taking the difference of my x's, 4 minus negative 2. And so then I'm going to keep working with that. I guess I'm going to move there now. So meaning I'm going to put my work over here. So 2/3 equals, let's just bring my left side along, y minus 1. I can't simplify that, folks. Those aren't like terms. I can't combine them. On the bottom, I would call that 6, though. 4 minus negative 2 is the same as 6. So now, folks, we are going to solve for y. Solve for that missing value. Now this one's a little bit different because we're going to actually multiply by 6 first to get rid of the fraction. So multiply by 6, multiply by 6. So now we get 12 over 3, which is the same as 4. So we get 4 equals y minus 1. And then we add 1. And I think that y is supposed to be 4 plus 1, which is 5. So I guess I'm saying that the y value is 5. I could put that right here. We can do a quick check. If you take the difference in the y's here, you get 4. If you take a difference in the x's, you get 6. So doesn't that simplify to 2/3? Yeah, you bet. So that's the only value that works for y there that makes the slope equate to 2/3. So let's try that on your practice. So again, using this template right here, slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Substitute in what you know. I know the slope is 4/3. Take the difference in the y's. Negative 4 minus y equals negative 7 minus 2. Minus negative 2, excuse me. So we get 4/3 equals negative 4 minus y. Again, we can't combine those, but I get a negative 5 on the, I don't like something. Oh, that's supposed to be a positive 7. Yeah, I went up here and I looked at what's the difference between 7 and negative 2. It's not 5, that's for sure. It's 9 because I wrote a number down incorrectly. So now from this template here, we're going to solve for y. Oops, e-daisy. So we actually want to get rid of the fraction first. This is all, oh, hello. This is all right here getting divided by 9. So we multiply it all by 9. What we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. So I get 36 divided by 3, which is 12. And on the right side, this is getting divided by 9 and multiplied by 9. That undoes itself. So now I just need to solve for y. Now, the chop slash here might help. Chop slash. Y is getting multiplied by like a negative 1. And it's also getting added to by negative 4. So we want to add 4 first. So we get 16 equals negative y, but we don't want to know what negative y is. We want to know what positive y is. So we divide by negative 1, and I'm calculating that y equals 16. Let's check that. If we plug that back in here, we get negative 4 minus negative 4. Let's read this correctly. Negative 4 minus 16, which is negative 20. And on the bottom we get 9. That's no good. Oh, I didn't actually, that's silly. I didn't actually divide by negative 1. I just brought the, sorry. So I think it should, that is the wrong answer. It should be negative 16. So we will simplify the top and we chop here. And so we end up getting 12. And on the bottom we get 9. And what does 12 over 9 simplify to? Well, it simplifies to 4/3, which is what I thought that said. So we're going to roll with that. That's the process. So here, let's use our template again. Now our slope is negative 8/9. Yeah, I missed the negative sign right there. That's super important. And honestly, folks, usually people put it up on top, but it can be out in front, and it was out in front, and I just didn't see it. That's why it's nice to put it up on top. So our slope is negative 8/9. This one will actually, so this wrong answer is technically wrong because I started the problem with the wrong value. Let's do this one and get the right answer. So you can keep that though. That'll work for your credit. So here we get y minus 5 on top, and on the bottom we get 5 minus negative 4. Alright, so now we can simplify that. On the bottom we actually have 9, right, because 5 minus negative 4 is 9. And then from here we multiply by 9 and multiply by 9. So we get, that's funny, it cancels out on the left as well. I was really just trying to cancel out this dividing by 9 over here, but it cancels out dividing by 9 over there. So we get negative 8 equals y minus 5. And now we add 5 to each side. And positive y, that's what we want to know, equals negative 3. Let's go check that. So we have negative 3 here. We can substitute negative 3 in there. When I simplify the top, I get negative 8. When I simplify the bottom, I get 9. That's what it's supposed to equal. Now, folks, these answers aren't, or these fractions aren't going to always be equivalent right away. Sometimes you have to simplify them. Like when I simplify 12/9, I get 4/3, which is what I thought my slope was supposed to be. But I, again, calculated that problem incorrectly because I missed the negative sign. Let's try number 11. So our slope is 1/4. That's supposed to equal the change in my y's, y1 minus y, divided by the change in my x's, 9 minus negative 7. Now here's the deal, folks. I'm going to proceed with this in a second, but did you know that you could actually be a rebel here? And in fact, it'd save you some time. It'd be a little less effort. If you could actually take y minus 1 on the top. But if you do that, if you take the first y minus the second y, you have to take the first x minus the second x. So it would look like this. So you would see that the top and the bottom are switched from what I have written in red. If you switch the order on the top, you have to switch the order on the bottom as well. These two fractions in blue and in red are equivalent. Some of you might like this better because this one, y is just a positive 1 in front of it, so you won't have to divide by 1 in the end. But we can handle that. It's not a big deal. So we actually get 16 on the bottom. 1/4 equals 1 minus y over 16. So we're going to multiply by 16 on each side. So on the left side, we get 16 times 1, which is 16, divided by 4 is 4. On the right side, we have 1 minus y. Again, if you want to do the old chop slash, you could. So you'd subtract 1, you get 3 equals negative y. So then divide by negative 1, you get y equals negative 3. Let's check that. Plug negative 3 back in for y. So it would be 1. Again, I subtracted second y minus first y and second x minus first x. So it would be 1 minus negative 3, which equals 4 when you chop. On the bottom, you get 16. Simplify the fraction 4 divided by 16. It's equivalent to 1/4. That's correct. Now, if you want extra credit, folks, you need to do 12, 13, and 14 on your own and check them. Make sure they work out. On your test, I'll try to remember to put a section like this. You can also get some summative extra credit, which means you'll probably want to review this before you take your test. You want to come back to this assignment, check this topic out, repractice, ace it on the test.